What's going on, gearheads? Welcome back to the channel. We got another install video for you today. We're going to be working on the C6 and putting a new stereo in the car. So let's go check it out. Alright, so here's the box we've got. Do a quick unboxing for you guys. Got a packaged manual here, top display, car Android, and looks like we got our cable connectors, harnesses, and wiring diagram. And then next up is the unit itself and some more cables and connectors down here. And here's the unit, the display. Looks like we still got some analog buttons on the side. Looks pretty low profile and thin compared to the OEM unit. I've taken those out before, and those things are a brick. They're like solid 10 inches wide. So that's pretty cool to see, and it looks like we have all our connectors and harnesses and stuff. There should be no cutting of wires. This should all be plug and play. So let's get started. Got some basic hand tools over here, a little plastic pry bar, some Torx bits, and some regular sockets. I think this should be enough to do the job. If there's anything else you need during the project, I'll let you guys know. And then we're going to start off by disconnecting the battery, make everything safe. So let's get on it. Since this is the Z06, the battery is in the trunk. I think some of the other models, it's under the hood. You should be able to figure out where your battery is. 10 mil socket. Loosen up that clamp on the terminal, and we'll be able to slip that off of it. Normally this just takes a little wiggle back and forth, and then it pops off. Tuck it away so it won't make contact with the battery again. And something to just make sure of when you do disconnect power to the car, make sure you got this key. It's part of the key fob. Keep that separated away from the vehicle, so that way if you do by accident close all the doors and you lose power to this thing, you basically have a way to get manually into the trunk, because if not, you're going to be locked out of the car and going to need a locksmith. So our first mission here will be to get the center console out and removed. Got to start with the glove box, if you want to call it center console box, and then work our way forward. This is all one piece, so this will come out together. And something I noticed online, I was taking a look at a bunch of YouTube videos, some guys that have done stereo installs or shifter installs or something. Man, everybody skips all these steps and all these critical things that you'd want to know when removing the stereo or shifter console or whatever. It's like they just jump to when it's all apart, and then they show you and turn the camera on. So we're not going to do that in this video. I'm going to show you everything, every step, every detail, every tool we're using to pull this thing apart, so that it's not a surprise to anybody, and if you're stuck with it, you're going to be able to see exactly how this thing all comes apart. So let's get into it. Alright, so step one, T15 Torx. If you have a flex head, makes it a little easier, but we're basically just going to zip out all four of these and then take the armrest off. Alright, that's done. So we'll set that aside. There we go. Very gentle. Those come out super easy. And it looks like we have probably a 10, or it's a 10. These are pretty much hand tight. I wonder if this has been apart before. I don't think so in this car, but you never know. But they just don't have a very high factory torque spec on them. Alright, so that's out. Alright, shift boot next. Let me see if I can flip you around. Pretty sure you just gotta kind of pull up on it and it pops the clips out. There we go. There's another clip. There's a clip here and the tab down here you could see. So I just got one more that hasn't popped yet. There it goes. And then we could just kind of twist that out of the way, but you can see the clips there. Alright, next up, 7 mil, two of them here, and that should separate this. Alright, that's two of them out right there. The two plugs here, And looks like also 15 Torx. Let's check with our bit. Yep, 15 Torx. Alright, and then to get a little space here, just gonna grab this side trim piece, pull that out. Don't mind these wires here. This is for my wideband and then my dash camera, so you're not gonna likely have those. Alright, there we go. Tripod jammed in here, so now I can work on this and show you exactly in real time what we're doing. So we're gonna lift up and then work this back out of here. So that can pretty much stay like that, or I guess you could take it out completely. Whatever you want to do. And then now that that's out of the way, this can basically pop free. Okay, so let's get a good view of the shift knob part. I'm just going to take this, slide the boot down, and then basically grab this and do like a quarter turn. You can see that turn there, and then this slides down and exposes that screw, and then we should be able to get the knob off. So that's enough space there. This is a little bigger. It's probably like a T20. Alright, so T25 actually. Okay. Yep, definitely has some thread locker on it. Whoop, there we go. And hopefully this just comes up. There we go. Got all of our nuts and bolts in here. Probably should organize these, but here's where we're at. Alright, I think this is the best view we've got right here. Sorry for a little bit of wind noise. It's like 90 something in the garage. I got a little fan going on me here. So we should be able to pull this back now, I think. There we go. A little jiggle. Alright, she's free. We'll take this ring, get that out of the way. Pop that back. And now it should just be a bunch of connectors and stuff we gotta undo. But that's basically getting it free. Alright, this next part I might physically not be able to film just because trying to get camera down here while I'm undoing these connectors. But basically it should be a connector for traction control, the seats, and then our button here. I guess depending on your model you might have mag ride, or maybe automatic shifters can be slightly different, but essentially that's where we're at. It's all free and loose. It's just a matter of getting your connectors out now. Alright, since I couldn't show you the connectors like physically being removed, figure I'd walk you through all of them. So 12 volt outlet socket. This one just has a little tab you push with your finger like that. So that one's pretty easy. This one, I actually had to lift the tab. So this is traction control. So you just take a little screwdriver and bend this down, and then that will pop out. Heated seats were super easy. Just push this tab in. Same thing on the other side. And then I left the hazard still connected. Just flip this out of the way. And then we're ready to do the stereo now. Next up, we got 4 7mm to take out for the radio. And then we'll see if we get this separated or it's got to come out with the HVAC control. Alright, now we got all 6 out, 4 for the stereo, 2 for the HVAC. Okay, so now the HVAC can drop down. See those tabs there? That was what was in the way before. And then this brick should be able to slide out. Yep, here we go. And looks like we got a couple connectors to remove here. Alright, push down, pop that out, pop that out, and that's probably our radio. And she's out. Alright, here's a quick side-by-side. Old factory unit, you can see how big and bulky that is. This one, pretty slim and light. So let's hope everything fits up and all of our brackets, our connectors, and all that stuff are going to be seamless plug and play. So let's take a look at the adapters here and what we need to go from the factory harness stuff to the new stereo. Okay, jumping back on the stereo install, we're up to the point where we're going to get this set up here. I got the connector already done in the back. Here's a better look. You get this plug here, and then that goes to essentially the C6 adapter. Plug this in so it has the Bluetooth antenna, regular FM AM antenna, I guess, for that, and then the GPS for the navigation. So they give you a whole lot of other accessories also. I'm not specifically going to install all this stuff, but the options are there if you're going to use any other like external amplifiers. You have RCA jacks, you have a backup camera if you want to do that. There's a microphone piece, there's some USB if you want to do like a charger or maybe connect another device. There's a SD card, I think, in there. Some other accessory line out, aux in, different cameras you can do. There's another connector also if you want to do like data, like have data in the car where you can access the internet like through this thing, which is, you know, can be useful if you're going to set it up that way. But they give you this basic overview here that gives you the kind of highlights. So RCAs, power, protocol box, the serial bus, different 4P, 6P USB, that's the 4G antenna I was telling you about, radio adapter, GPS module, and then this cable you want to connect, so it has the Bluetooth antenna and the Wi-Fi antenna in it there. So that's the basic rundown. It's just laid out pretty well and easy to follow. So next we're going to jump back in the car, get this mounted up. I'll show you guys that part, and then we'll be putting in together all the accessories, the whole center console, and this thing should be done. And we'll get to fire it up, test it out, and show you guys what it looks like. So I reached out to tech support just to confirm, but essentially in my factory stereo I had this connector in the back of it, this connector here which goes into the new radio, and then the antenna one, and that was it. So I confirmed with them there's no spot for this. Everything is done through this main harness, and they claim it's going to work with the factory steering wheel controls. That's not going to affect anything. So we'll get this put in and let's see how it works. So just got the 6 screws started. I put this in first, then the HVAC control. So far everything looks like it's fitting up well. I'm going to tighten all these screws up. Basically reverse all the operations we went through taking this apart. So there's not really a whole lot to show you here. If you figure out how to take it apart and follow this video, you should be able to wrap this up and back together. So we'll jump to having that back together, fire this up, test it out. Alright guys, we got the install complete. Everything's back together. Here's our display. We're just booting up power now. Alright, so I'll walk you through the stereo system here, the new display. Sorry there's a little bit of glare with the camera. I think it's just the way it sees it on the lens. But anyway, main menu here. It's kind of like using your iPhone or your Android. Just have your like tiles here you could select. So we have the ability to sync. This is through Android, so this is on my phone, to come up kind of like Carplay or Apple Play, whatever they call it. So that's like the home screen on my phone. These are all my apps and everything. I could pull up my Spotify and start my music. I can pull up maps. I can do my navigation, so it shows me where I am and everything. Text messages, phone calls. So basically it acts kind of like your phone, and you don't really need to touch your phone. You can just navigate everything here. And then you can, adjust your volume. You have still manual controls, which is pretty nice. Instead of everything being touchscreen, you still have like a menu, back button, navigation, apps. These are all stuff built in. Bluetooth. You could put the radio on if you wanted to, listen to the regular radio. There's all the standard features like with your regular radio system you'd have in the car. Oh, this is a big thing for these cars, right? So steering wheel controls, a lot of people are going to wonder, will you retain function of your factory steering wheel controls? So the answer is yes. Demonstration of that function. We're going to put the music back on. You can see here, I'm going to raise the volume, lower the volume. I could skip the track, go to the next one, and I can raise the volume, put it back down, and then also the phone call button will work. We could answer or hang up on a phone call. And I'll just show you a quick tutorial on how to set up the steering wheel controls, just because that was a little confusing for me. So I'll give you guys kind of a shortcut. You go to car settings in your apps, go to steering learn, and then basically what you do is you just push whatever button you want to set. So for example, if you want to set the raise volume, you click that, and then you press and hold that button on the steering wheel, and it will see setup success. So it'll assign that function to that part of the steering wheel. So like answer the phone call, we'll press and hold that, and then it'll set that function up. So you can basically pick what ones you want here to set up with your steering gear controls. So something I immediately noticed with the stereo and getting something set up here is as soon as I went to turn my music on, again, I had the factory radio in this thing, so I'm comparing it to that. The music was so much more like punchy and had so much more depth to it. Like, it really made a huge impact and difference to the sound quality. Again, I didn't change speakers, I didn't change the amp or anything else. I just changed the head unit, and there was such an increase in the sound quality. It was pretty incredible. So it's probably tough to give you any kind of demo on here with sound quality, because again, I'm not using like a serious professional microphone or anything crazy like that, but it's just really impressive how much better the sound is coming out of this head unit than the factory head unit. So thanks for checking out this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got any questions, just drop in the comments below or send me an email. This video is helpful if you're in the market for an upgraded stereo in your C6. So yeah, check out the link below, and I'll see you on the next one.